Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 glitches in gaming that really made our skin crawl.
I can't say it's what I'd have picked for you, but if that's your name, that's your name.
Number 20. Moving Mannequins. The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim. Skyrim was already plagued with bugs when it launched way back in 2011, and many of those bugs are still present even in the newer versions. Unfortunately, there was one glitch that might have scared some players away from the game. In some areas, you might stumble across a couple of mannequins, and surprisingly, they are alive. You cannot interact with them, and they cannot interact with you. They are simply faceless, sentient statues that will only stare at you. Some can be reset back into their correct states, but others, you might just have to leave and never return. Number 19. Wall Giants. Battlefield 3. The Battlefield series is already infamous for having ridiculous bugs at launch. We won't ever forget the time that everyone can suddenly become giraffes. But Battlefield 3's most terrifying bug was when everyone suddenly became giants. This wasn't just a glitch that affected the size of players either. More often than not, a player character's entire face would be distorted with texture stretching and floating eyes and mouths. Yeah, suddenly Battlefield 3 became the stuff of nightmares for those who played at launch. Number 18. An E-rated foreshadow? Luigis Mansion. It's hard to believe that Nintendo would put anything mildly frightening in their games, even if it is a bit spook-centric like Luigi's Mansion. However, one glitch led many to believe that Nintendo was sneaking in a rather morbid scene. Upon entering Area 4, the power will go out across the entire mansion, and you'll need to answer a phone in one of the nearby rooms. When lightning strikes, you'll see an odd silhouette of Luigi that looks like he's hanging in the air. Some players thought this was the haunting image of Luigi hanging himself, when in reality it was simply an unexpected symptom of the GameCube's lack of fidelity in lighting and animation.
Oh yeah.
Number 17. The Exorcism of Sam Green. The casting of Frank Stone. This is a glitch one of our own writers came across while playing the casting of Frank Stone. In one of the later chapters of the game, you'll take control of Officer Sam Green and come across the film camera needed to defeat the vicious killer, Frank Stone. However, after fiddling with the controls, Sam's body began to contort in a way that would cause anyone to call in a priest. Sam's head and legs did a complete 180, while the torso remained facing the direction it needed to. So much for sleep. Number 16. Slippery Bodies. Hitman Blood Money. By now, you're probably used to the spit and polish condition later Hitman games launched in. However, if you were around when Blood Money launched, you might have come across a glitch that was truly disturbing. After taking out an enemy or NPC, some players immediately regretted their decision after the body started following Agent 47 around. It was almost as if the corpses had their own unique pathing. You can guarantee some players were much more cautious with their shots after this glitch. Number 15. Get the Anesthesia. Surgeon Simulator. It can be tough to make a game completely free of bugs and glitches, especially if your game is entirely dependent on physics for the core gameplay. Case in point, Surgeon Simulator. It was already tricky honing in on tools and trying to perform operations without killing a patient. But there was one bug that might have caused a distraction for some players or even instant losses. Trust us, once you see someone's head convulse at an intense rate, you may not boot up Surgeon Simulator ever again.
Hi, I'm Nigel Byrne. You might know me as the guy that lurks in the hospital.
Number 14. A launch of buggy proportions. EFootball PES 2020. The eFootball series saw a rather rocky launch back in 2019. The game was plagued with all sorts of bugs in the animation and visuals, so much so that there are plenty of compilations to look up. Some of these bugs, like players' mouths behaving like a guppy fish's mouth, might come across as just uncomfortable. Other bugs, like limbs twisting and contorting in unnatural ways, might be downright unsettling to witness. Either way, these bugs were almost unsurprising to experience given the awful track record Konami has had with the Pro Evolution Soccer games that came before. Number 13, the entire game, WWE 2K20.
Had a good reputation with the game in previous years being, pretty solid, so this is...
Just like with eFootball, WWE 2K20 launched in such a broken state that asking for one stable game was like asking Taco Bell to make their nacho fries a permanent menu item. It will never happen. Thanks to this, you can expect all kinds of bizarre issues to crop up in character rigs and collision detection. Have you ever seen someone completely defy physics and gravity just to become one with another object? Well, be prepared to see the ref clip through the floor and pull off some unholy crouch walking. You will never unsee this.
Jumping DDT!
Number 12. You shouldn't be here. World of Warcraft. The second we heard there was a hidden level in World of Warcraft that could only be accessible through a glitch, we had to see it for ourselves. Folks, this is a lesson in be careful what you wish for. The world in question is known as the Karazhan Crypt, or the Forgotten Crypt. As you might expect from such a morbid place, players will find dead bodies hanging from the ceiling and walls in almost every room. What makes the place super creepy is how you will be completely alone while exploring, and the loneliness gets unsettling super quick. Number 11. Begone, glitch spawn! Pokemon Red and Blue. As most Pokemon fans know, the urban legend missing number is very much a real glitch that can be replicated in original cartridges of Pokemon Red and Blue. You can even replicate it on the Nintendo 3DS version, but the reason we're putting missing number on this list is more so the impact it had on us when we were young. Something about its pixelated appearance made us feel more like we were living in our own twisted, yet admittedly stupid, creepypasta, before creepypastas were even a thing. It's funny how Nintendo doesn't even know what spawned this non-pocket monster, and the company has regarded it as a programming quirk. Number 10. Ghosts of Halo. Halo series. Spotted primarily throughout Halo 2, 3, and Reach, the Ghosts of Halo are terrifying apparitions that will make you want to stay far, far away from the nightmare that is this series' multiplayer. These ghosts are essentially spectral figures that randomly show up on various maps and behave erratically, including gliding across the floor and attacking other players like vengeful poltergeists. They have no gamer tags, do not appear on the scoreboard, and are seemingly impervious to damage. Some possible causes for these ghosts include stress on the game's engine and severe network lag, but let's be serious. I think we can all agree that the real reason is that these games are cursed with the souls of the damned. End of story.
Game over.
Number 9. Manimals. Red Dead Redemption. The world of Red Dead Redemption is filled with crooks, liars, and murderers. And that's just in the city. Travel outside the town limits and you could be faced with obstacles just as dangerous, like scam artists, bloodthirsty bears, and oh my god, what the hell was that? As if the Wild West wasn't frightening enough, it was apparently littered with lightning-fast baby-faced creatures that wanted to eat your brains. Animals with the heads of human men, and bodies flying through the air like souls trapped between heaven and earth. That's it, I'm moving to the city. Number 8. The Dead Live. Call of Duty series. These probably weren't the zombies that the developers had in mind when they implemented zombie mode. Throughout the Call of Duty series, and especially prevalent in Black Ops, a glitch occurs which sees dead bodies rising from their grave in some form or another, like moving their mouths or standing in the path of the player, their soulless eyes endlessly judging you for sending them to the afterlife. It's somewhat jarring being immersed in a military shooter 1 second, and seeing the risen and bloody corpses of your victims standing in front of you the next. Apparently war really is hell on earth. Number 7. Demon Children. The Sims 3. We get it, children can be a little scary. They're a lot of responsibility, they scream a lot for seemingly no reason, and they project pea-coloured bile like Regan from The Exorcist. But that's nothing compared to the nightmares that are the demon children of The Sims 3. This glitch makes certain babies and children extremely deformed, with some becoming nothing more but elongated limbs left to scuttle around on the floor like the spider head thing from, well, The Thing. We understand not wanting to burn your house down, but it's the only way to combat these little suckers. Number 6. Geralt's creepy face, The Witcher.
You're huge and ugly.
If there's two things that we can state as facts about this game, they would be 1. It's awesome, and 2. Geralt's a total boss. It's just that in some instances throughout the game, a glitch occurs which sees Geralt's face become extremely droopy and grotesque, while his weapons float around him via Witcher magic, or something. The glitch only affects the appearance of his face, which makes it hilarious to have everyday interactions with the townsfolk while you're wearing the face of Satan himself.
Not likely. He fled. He's not me.
Number 5. Incomplete Faces, Assassin's Creed Unity. A textbook example as to what happens when you try to push out yearly releases, Unity, when it launched, was a glitchy mess from beginning to end. What stood out, however, were these incomplete faces that was such a great balance between terrifying and hilarious that they became a widespread joke on the internet. It's a good thing that the history books omitted the fact that people in 18th century France walked around with floating eyeballs, because these would give anybody nightmares. Number 4. Alma Won't Go Away, Fear 2, Project Origin. Fear 2 was a worthy successor to one of the creepiest games of all time, and it featured some fantastic scares throughout, with most of them centering around the sinister little girl named Alma. Alma would randomly appear in the player's field of vision, giggling like a madwoman, and just generally causing tomfoolery. However, some gamers experienced a glitch, particularly in the swimming pool section, which would see Alma simply hover and never disappear. It's creepy enough seeing a little girl pop in and out of nowhere. It's something else entirely to have her glide through the air like a demon, inching ever closer towards you, her haunting black eyes unceasingly staring into yours, and okay, uninstall. Number 3. Mannequin Mother, Mafia 2. During one particular cutscene, and especially prevalent when played on MacBook, a nasty glitch can occur which sees the protagonist's mother turn into a terrifying mannequin-esque monstrosity. Her skin becomes a leathery and nightmarishly dark brown, her eyes turn into little black beads, and she moves with the grace of a puppet, all the while talking to her son as if nothing's going on. What makes the glitch even better is the fact that the real mother sometimes makes brief appearances throughout the conversation, like her soul is trying to fight the satanic possession that has overtaken her, but it's all to no avail. Number 2. Doc's Exorcist Head, Fallout New Vegas.
I can't say it's what I'd have picked for you, but if that's your name, that's your name.
This infamous glitch almost fits with the game's narrative, as the opening has the player getting shot in the head, and the good doc here telling you that he had to basically reassemble your brain. If that's the case, he may have done more harm than good. Not content with simply creeping you out, he will also float through the air with limp limbs and a completely upside down head, ensuring that you eject the game, snap it in half and bury it in a landfill where it can never be touched by human hands again.
That's great news. Well, we know your vitals are good.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Praise the Sun, Mountain Blade Warband. Imagine playing a game like Mountain Blade Warband, getting through the tutorial, and finally experiencing that step out moment like so many other RPGs try to evoke. But as soon as you do, you witness a horrific sight. The skybox is actually the face of another person. Yes, Mountain Blade Warband scared off many players as they began experiencing sky faces in their game. some only being able to see them if they face the camera in front of their character. Suddenly, Warband had a much more sinister tone to everything. To this day, the glitch remains a frequent occurrence. What's the creepiest glitch you've seen in a game? Did it make our list? Let us know in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to Watch Mojo.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.